Hello everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. What today's lesson covers is some more advanced poi moves, tricks, or what I consider combos. One of the things I'd like to talk to you guys about today is about when you're performing. When you're performing moves, tricks, or any of your combos, when you're routining, when you're fire dancing, period. Express, don't impress. A lot of you might go out there, I know I did at one point, trying to impress people with your fire dance. Instead, express. It's it is a art form, an art form of expression, self-expressions. When you're fire dancing, make sure that you're fire dancing for the right reasons, to express yourself, not to impress others. That's important, because the social feedback that you'll receive from others when you perform or when you fire dance is going to be different. If you're trying to impress an audience, they're going to respond to you differently compared to if you are expressing yourself. So express, don't impress. That's important. I'll make that clear to you guys. I remember when I was first studying magic, there was a magician who talked about when you first get into magic, you'll want to learn all the sleights, all the tricks, how they're done. And he said this is a mistake. What you want to do is take your 3 favorite tricks and practice them, and do them better than anybody else. Do them better than anybody else. That's the best way to get your tricks down, in my opinion. That's the best way to get better at tricks. That's the best way to get more moves in your arsenal, in your repertoire. There's been some inspiration lately. Raxtaxel, forgive my pronunciation of the guy's name. Raxtaxel. What? Okay, someone correct me, please. Feedback. And Alien John. I'd like to thank those guys for giving me some patterns, some ideas. Some of the stuff I figured out, and some of the stuff I haven't figured out, or more or less I like to say that I haven't just put the time into figuring out. If any of the things that you can't get down, well, practice them more. Remember in the previous lesson when I said that I will discuss the inner wall planes? Well, we're going to use the inner wall planes in this very first drill that you see. These are the inner wall planes. There's one for each hand, and they can overlap or be separate from one another. These are the wall planes. Inner wall planes, wall planes. Inner wall planes, wall planes. Buzzsaw polyrhythms in forward and reverse, split time, same direction. My strong side is with my right hand, so let's begin with it. If you don't know how to buzzsaw, look for a buzzsaw tutorial before jumping into these movements. The most important part of this movement, as with all polyrhythmic moves, is the timing. Take note that we are in a forward spin because the timing of the extended hand coming back into the buzzsaw is different for a reverse spin. You can see that the red poi extends when the yellow poi is on its upstroke. When the red poi comes back into the buzzsaw, it is on its downstroke. The yellow poi is right back where it started the pattern on its upstroke. In a reverse spin, the opposite is true. The extending poi starts when the other poi is on its downstroke. The extended poi comes back into the buzzsaw on its upstroke. Timing is the key to executing this pattern. For the complete pattern, alternate which hand is extending. Same time, opposite direction, behind the head, polyrhythms. If you watched my last polyrhythm tutorial, it will make this pattern easier to understand. In the last video, they were all reverse spin polyrhythms. This is a forward spin polyrhythm. There are many variations to this pattern depending on how many beats you make in the complete pattern. For this next variation, you will need to be able to execute a behind the head forward spin thread the needle. This is my personal favorite variation, and I will explain why. Notice that the entire pattern takes place on the B plane, except for the extending arm. What this does during a performance is cast the light from the fire poi behind you, making you a silhouette, while the extending poi casts a dim light on the front of your body. At any given time, you can change this pattern to have more of it occur on the A plane and cast more light from the fire on the front of you. In this last variation I am showing you, there is no in-between beats that separate the pattern. Each hand simply trades off or alternates through the pattern. Jeez. Jeez. Okay, if you didn't catch the name of this move, it's G's. There's actually a story behind why we call this G's. The first time I saw this pattern, it was from G at playpoi.com. The title of the video was G's Favorite Poi Move. A friend and I were brainstorming for movements in a routine when we agreed to use this movement. Well, we certainly didn't want to call the move G's Favorite Poi Move, so we shortened it down and came up with G's. If you cannot execute this move, search for G's Favorite Poi Move on YouTube and watch it before moving on. The G's combo. By adding more movements onto an already named movement, I simply add the word combo to the end. Making names for your own movements will help to recall patterns and makes the overall choreography process more simple. This movement has a similar feel to G's. The addition is 3 arm movements, down, up, then down. During the arms moving this way, there is the exchanging of speeds and a pattern amongst each poi. One poi in-spins while the other poi anti-spins. In the YouTube video, G's Favorite Poi Move, G executes this pattern at the bottom and goes up once and then back into G's. What I am talking about happens at 45 seconds into the video. In this video, it starts on the top, goes down, and then back to the top and into G's. What I'm trying to get across is that you can initiate this movement from top or bottom, hand placement, and come back to the G's pattern. This one tripped me out quite a bit when I was first learning it, so be patient and have fun with it. Threading the needle in position 1 and 3 on the center star. 1 being at the top and 3 at the bottom. If you don't practice this, start. When you go up and down with your hand placement, practice alternating which hand is on top and bottom to ensure overall balance of the movement. Practice this in a forward and reverse direction butterfly. Coming up and down with an anti-spin while threading the needle. I want you to pay attention to my hand placement and the directional rotation of my arm circles. This movement can be tricky, so give it some practice. I do not show all of the variations of this move that are possible for your explorational enjoyment purposes. Hint: in this pattern, I am going down in the middle and up on the sides. You can also go up in the middle and down on the sides. In fact, it doesn't matter where you start, top or bottom, reverse or forward spin. You can anti-spin up or down on either side of you. In this particular variation, I have removed the beat that was at the top, so you would count this as 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. In this previous variation, the counts were 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1.5 beat weave under the legs. Going barefoot helps. There's not really much I have to say about the 1.5 beat weave under the legs. You simply execute a 1.5 beat weave under the legs. Just pay attention to where the poi are and my hand placement and you'll get the hang of it in no time. Well, there is one thing I want to say. When practicing this movement, work on getting the poi that is stalling behind you and then in front of you as parallel to the ground as you can get it. The more parallel, the cleaner the execution will be. Okay, two things. When performing the under the legs portion of this move, with whatever leg you are going under, have that leg be on the wall plane and then move it inboard towards its respective inner wall plane. Just watch my leg move from out to in when I lift it off the ground to understand what I mean. I hope you enjoy what you see. If you like what you see, you want to see some other stuff, have any questions, give me some feedback. Let me know what's going on in your guys' boy mind. Till next time.